The great English author Charles Dickens wrote a book called A Tale of Two Cities, talking about the fear of the people in Paris during the French Revolution and seeking safety in London. And we're not going to have a book study on the Tale of Two Cities, but the beautiful thing about that line of that title is that that's the story of Jerusalem. That's our story. It's a tale of two cities. It's a tale of two kingdoms, each with its own king. So our first reading comes from Isaiah, and Isaiah is writing around the 8th century BC. And he's writing to the northern part of the kingdom of Israel. So Israel was divided into two parts after Solomon, the son of King David. So the northern part was called Israel proper, and then the southern part was called Judah. And during Solomon's reign, and then after Solomon, King Solomon, there was a lot of feuds going on between the northern and the southern kingdom. And so Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, is coming in the northern kingdom of Israel, and around 200, 300 years after King David, and he is prophesying that there's the Assyrians are going to come over and destroy the northern kingdom of Israel. And this is, and nobody believes him. Why? Because God, from the beginning, promised to Abraham through the king Melchizedek that he and his progeny would inherit a kingdom, and that kingdom would be Shalem, Jerusalem. That is the place of peace. That's literally what Jerusalem means, the city of peace. And so now no one's believing Isaiah because they're like, okay, well, God promised us this nation. God promised us this city. He promised us this kingdom. He cannot take it away. But what they don't know is that what they don't understand is that that's not the kingdom that God promised them. That kingdom is of flesh and blood. That kingdom is of worldly things. And it will fall, and it did fall. The Assyrians came in and wiped the northern kingdom of Israel out. Then around 200, 300 years later, the Babylonians came and wiped out the southern kingdom of Judah. To the point where, if we look at what's going on in the Middle East now, there's still no peace there. Jerusalem is not a place of peace. If we look to this world, to our world here, it is also not a place of peace. We celebrate our Independence Day on July 4th, and then the next day, there's a mass flooding in Texas where 14 kids and more adults die. That's not a place of peace. Friends, we do not live in the Jerusalem promised by God, because this is not that Jerusalem promised by God. And that's what Jesus is here to tell us. That's why Jesus sends his 72 disciples to the ends of the earth to prepare the way for him, to prepare the places that he is to usher that kingdom. Because Jesus, his body and blood, that is the kingdom. He is the kingdom of heaven, and he is the King of peace. And he bears on his body the marks of peace and mercy. Those marks that St. Paul is boasting about. Those are the same marks that we as Christians ought to boast about as well. Friends, the United States, as great as a nation as it is not the New Jerusalem. There is no city upon this earth that can be the New Jerusalem. Like Israel of old, one day the U.S. will pass away as well. One day all the great nations of this earth will pass away as well. But the body and blood of Christ will never pass away. That is the true city we all long for. And we get to partake of it here at Mass. when we say amen to the body and blood of Christ and we receive that kingdom, that King of peace into ourselves. And then receiving that Christ, we are able to take that kingdom out. We are those 72 disciples that are sent to the ends of this fallen and broken world to announce that the King is coming and he will rule forever.